Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Got a story here involving tow trucks, and Jake said, Steve, didn't you once drive a tow truck? Yes, I did. Thank you for pointing that out. From Fox19.com is the story. Emily Vanderreet wrote this out of Pittsburgh. Owner of towing company receives sentence after charging driver $10,000 to tow vehicle less than a half mile. That's a pretty steep rate. The owner of a towing company in Pittsburgh pleaded guilty to felony charges after inflating prices to extraordinary levels for customers. According to the Pennsylvania Attorney General, and by the way, if you're a tow truck owner and operator and you find the Pennsylvania Attorney General looking into your actions, you might want to step back a little bit and take another look. But the man participated in predatory towing practices that involved astronomical bills for short tow trips, for short ones. The man's the owner of the company. Investigators learned of this in 2023 when a driver reported that their insurance company was billed $11,390 for a short trip that the vehicle owner did not even request. Law enforcement learned that other drivers were subjected to similar actions. Investigators uncovered a pattern of this man charging insurance companies exorbitant tow costs by initially not revealing prices on invoices and then later charging hidden fees. Some vehicle owners' insurance companies were charged between $9,460 and $13,105 for single short trip tows. In one case, the man is said to have charged $9,805 for towing a vehicle a third of a mile. Can you imagine if it had been a full mile? According to the AEG, the man pleaded guilty to felony theft by deception, felony insurance fraud, and misdemeanor execution of documents by deception. So recently, an Allegheny County court judge ordered the man to pay $379,279 to avoid going to jail and prohibited him from working in the tow industry. So the judge has actually said, you won't go to jail for this. If you pay $379,000, it's $379,000, and you can no longer work in the towing industry. So the man will serve 5 years on probation, but the first 6 months will be house arrest. House arrest. He will only avoid jail if he pays the full restitution within 30 days. So he's got to come up with $379,000 within 30 days. Now, I would guess, and this is a guess on my part, I would guess that his attorney has spoken to the AG or the prosecutor, whoever's handling the prosecution, and said, what do we got here? And they probably said to him, here's what we want you to pay back. And if you pay it back within 30 days, then this is the sentence you'll get. And I don't think they would agree to those terms if the guy couldn't scrape up the money. So I'm guessing that he's capable of paying the money back. But that is a guess on my part. So this defendant preyed on motorists in a pinch by hiding fees and inflating prices, leaving them and their insurance carriers with enormous bills to retrieve back their vehicles, says the AG. I commend our insurance fraud section and law enforcement partners for reaching a resolution that gives the defendant two options: pay back what he took or go to prison. So the man's also required to participate in a public service announcement for the Insurance Fraud Prevention Authority about predatory towing. It's kind of like Schoolhouse Rock, but regarding tow trucks. There might not be music involved, but again, I'm joking. But I've mentioned before that I drove a tow truck right out of high school. So I was working at a gas station when I was in high school, and one day they said, "Hey, you want to drive a tow truck?" I said, "Sure." I'd seen it done before. It didn't look that difficult. Looked like it might be fun. And so I got to drive the tow truck, go pick up people's cars, bring them back to the gas station. And then our gas station had the contract. We split it with another gas station for the city of Birmingham. So if a car got in an accident, was stuck in the middle of the road, and the police are there, they'd call us to come get the car. Every other month, we shared it with another company. I towed all kinds of stuff. And we had the contract 24 hours a day, 7 days a week during the month we had it. So somebody had to be on call, and once in a while that would be me. So I'd often get a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning saying, "Hey, there's a wrecked car down here at the intersection of Lincoln and Southfield. We need you to come get it out of here." I'd get dressed, run to the gas station, get the wrecker, go down, get the car, drag it back to the gas station, put the wrecker away, come back home, jump back into bed, try to get back to sleep. And it was actually fun. Those things can be fun when you're a young man. And I got to tow all kinds of crazy stuff. At one point in time, I got to tow a piano. At one point in time, that piano was on fire. I'm not going to retell that story now because I told it on Ed Bolian's VinWiki. I'll put a link to that video below this one. It's one of my more fun videos, I think, that I've done for Ed. People seem to enjoy it. But here's the thing. It's been a long time since I drove a tow truck. And I can tell you that when I drove the tow truck, we would create a bill. So I get a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning. There's a car in the intersection of Lincoln and Southfield. Come get it. So I'd go get it, bring it back to the gas station. I would then write out the bill and I would say, Birmingham police call, because that's who called us. I might not have the information. The driver might not have been there. They may have been in the hospital. Who knows? Birmingham Police Department. I put down the date and the time of the call, which would be 3 a.m. But we were also, because of the contract, only allowed to charge certain things. But we were allowed to charge basically the same things that the station charged on a regular tow, although some of the stuff was capped. But, for instance, just to get the tow truck there, flat rate, there's an amount for that. And back then, I don't know, probably $45 or something. But I'm guessing on that. But it wasn't $1 million and it wasn't $1, okay? Someplace in between. Then there was the fee to tow the vehicle back, which was by mile. So I would write out the miles and I'd say, I towed this vehicle back 3 miles. I towed the vehicle 5 miles. And so there was the hookup rate, the mileage rate. Those are the two factors that went into it. And there's always a third potential factor. If there was something unusual about the tow. So if I took a vehicle and towed it someplace else and then brought the wrecker back, there might be an extra fee because I took it to a different location. But the more common thing was if there was something unusual and difficult about the tow. So, for instance, I tell the story in the video with Ed Bolian and VinWiki about the time I encountered a guy who'd run a Z28 Camaro into a tree. And he hit the tree so hard that the Camaro had partly wrapped the front end around the tree and pushed the engine through the firewall. And to extricate that car took some effort. But then I had to put the car onto dollies to tow it home because this is the old style wrecker with the sling that picks up one end and drags it on the other end. And the front tires were jammed in this position and the back tires were screwed up because the differential had been pushed around to where the input was pointing down and was now lower than the rear wheels. So it couldn't be dragged on either set. So that tow was only about 2 or 3 miles. It was late at night, I'm guessing around midnight, but the use of the dollies increased the price. On another occasion, I encountered a vehicle that was upside down. On dry pavement, flat ground, but I had to flip the car over, then tow it. Yes, we charge you for flipping the car over, okay? Your car is down in a ditch, you have to winch it out, then tow it. We charge you to winch it out. Okay, so those things get built in, but the worst towing bills I ever saw, and this is back in the day again, was $100 or $2. And it made complete sense. But if you were to be working someplace paying bills for other people, and somebody submits to you a bill for $11,000, okay, I can tell you right now, you can have a car flatbedded from several states away in an enclosed trailer for $1,000, okay? So $1,000 tow bill is one thing, but an $11,000 tow bill sounds like, okay, what, is the vehicle at the bottom of the Grand Canyon? We've got to use a Sikorsky sky crane to get it out? Maybe, but no. So I'm really surprised at how big these numbers were and the fact that it worked at all. Because I would assume that if you submit a towing bill to an insurance company for $13,105, that the insurance company is going to go, what on earth were you towing that would cost that much? And what was so complicated about the tow that would cost that much? And that's what really makes me wonder. But the real point here is that the guy pleaded guilty, apparently, and the AG says we cut him a deal where if he pays everyone back, he's only going to get 5 years probation and the house arrest. But if he doesn't pay everybody back, then there might be prison in his future. So there you go. But like I said, as a former tow truck driver, this is the kind of stuff that makes us all look bad. It's been a few years since I actually drove one myself. So, Jake, thanks for sending that. Fox19.com ran it. Emily Vanderreet wrote it. Owner of towing company receives sentence after charging driver $10,000 to tow a vehicle less than a half mile. And there were other complaints of that same nature, according to the Attorney General in Pennsylvania. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Show me a person who does not make mistakes, and I will show you a person who does not do anything.